First, we're going to show you a conservative Republican that's a regular on a panel on CNN dismissing rights of people. And then I'm going to show you how he's wrong.
Isn't this exactly what we denounce other countries for doing? Not giving our own citizens, when they get wrongfully detained around the world, our own citizens the due process that they deserve?
Well, I think multiple things could be true. Number one, I delineate between American citizens and everyone else. If you're a U.S. citizen, I put you in a different category.
On due process, that's not a distinction that the law makes.
If you've come here and broken our laws and committed violent acts or murdered and raped and whatever, I put you in a different category.
When it comes to the law and due process, that is not a distinction.
Well, if you'd like to argue that Trent Aragua should have the same rights and that you get as an American citizen, go ahead.
I would change the Constitution. Hold on a second. The argument is
you're saying that a terrorist can walk across the border and become effectively a U.S. citizen?
That's not what I'm saying.
Scott, look at me. Okay,
you
and I are talking. You and I are talking. Okay, what I'm saying to you is that the law does not make a distinction between U.S. citizens and everybody else when it comes to being accused of crimes. Are you saying that should not be in place? That if you happen to not be a citizen, you get to be thrown into a jail with no process at all?
I'm saying that these people are effectively terrorists. They walked across our borders illegally.
Okay,
they are violent, and I don't really want them here.
But doesn't the government have to prove that they are who they say they are?
Correct. That's all we're saying.
That's all. I mean, you can say it.
Eventually,
it's not a concession that you like Trent Aragua. It's just a question of the basics of civics in this country.
I think eventually the government will have to show all of its cards on everybody that they have detained, deported, or done anything to in this arena. But there is no doubt that the Trump administration is rounding up effectively terrorists who came across here illegally, committed horrific acts, and do not need to be in this country.
They are doing that, perhaps, but they're also doing a lot of other things, too. And that's why the courts are asking questions about it. We do have to leave it there.
So you heard him trying to tap dance around that, right? We're not talking about whether or not they are or are not criminals. We're not talking about whether they are or are not gang members. We're not talking about whether they have or have not committed crimes. What we're saying is, do our laws apply to them while they're here? And he says, if you're an American citizen, I put you in this group. Everybody else I put in this group. But unfortunately, that's not how the law works. If you're here, if you're on American soil, whether you're here legally, whether you were born here and you're a citizen, or whether you're here illegally with no documentation, the U.S. Constitution applies to you if you are on American soil. Don't believe me. Believe one of the most conservative Supreme Court justices ever, Scalia. Here.
To whom does the First Amendment apply? Do undocumented immigrants have the 5 freedoms? Oh, I think so. I think anybody who's present in the United States has protections under the United States Constitution.
And that's how it works. If you're present in the United States of America, you have protections under the U.S. Constitution. That doesn't mean that you're going to win your case in court. That doesn't mean that you're going to be able to stay in this country. None of that. And you heard the gentleman from the CNN panel say, well, so effectively, you want a terrorist to be able to walk across the southern border and effectively become a U.S. citizen. No. We're saying that when they do walk across that border, whether we like it or not, they have protections under the U.S. Constitution. Because that's the way our government is set up. Our government is set up to protect the people, no matter who they are. Now the process has to go through the court. The federal government has to prove they are who they say they are. And if they do that, they're gone. If they can't do that, then they're not. Due process. If we want due process for ourselves, we have to protect it for everybody. If we want free speech for ourselves, we have to protect it for everybody. Any of those rights that we want for ourselves, we have to protect for everybody. Otherwise, they're meaningless for anybody. Because if they can yank them from one group of people, then tomorrow they can yank them for the next group of people. And the next day they can yank them from the next group of people. And sooner or later, they're going to run out of groups of people to yank freedoms from, and then they're going to come for your freedom. If we don't all stand up now together, where none of us are going to be able to stand up down the line.